From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE. As the toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, and forced stimulus is heading to the finish line. But in this recording, I'm going to go over a series of shocking developing details happening just this Tuesday morning that's going to leave you speechless. While the toast may be toasting and the butter is buttering and the coffee is brewing, also's brewing is a series of confusing reports coming from everyone from Elizabeth Warren to the White House. A new series of other data came out this morning, and that data showed that SSI reform is needed because the cost of living adjustment last year was nearly nil and inflation went through the roof. I'll be going over why SSI reform is needed under fifth stimulus. I'll also go over what happened with the home sales numbers today and what that means for your fourth stimulus. Meantime, UPS beat on earnings. Tesla was a dog now as people look on what happened yesterday. And Binance is launching a new NTF. But the real shocking developing details is happening minutes ago. From Richard Neal, Elizabeth Warren, and the president's chief economic advisor. It impacts your fourth stimulus, those monthly stimulus checks. It impacts fifth stimulus this fall, that SSI reform. And it impacts where this economy is going under this administration and these congressional leaders. A lot of taxes, a lot of clarity about which taxes, but not clarity about where the relief is coming. Where is the relief for you as the Americans? Not being detailed. All we're hearing is a lot of taxing and a lot of proposals to tax and no details about when you're physically getting money in the fifth stimulus package. I'll be very critical in the second half of this recording as you see something you've never seen before. This Morning's LA. And let's get to it. This is Morning's LA. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and I have incredible great news for you about the $1,400 third stimulus check, the reoccurring monthly fourth stimulus check that would pay you stimulus checks starting in the month of July, going all the way to December, and the incredible great news about SSI reform coming in September. I also have big developing details about the new business grant that's live. But later in this recording, you're also going to see shocking new developing details from Richard Neal, the head of the most important branch of the House of Representatives for purpose of the Democrats. The massive payout he's proposing to give children for 17 years. The new statements from Elizabeth Warren about which taxes she wants to hit on, the statements from the White House about what taxes they want to hit on, and where is the lack of clarity about the money coming to you? We're going to be finding it in this video. You're going to never see a video more to the bone than this one this morning. Thank you for joining me. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Let's start first with third stimulus. Third stimulus has incredible great news because a series of items that were unpaid are being paid. First, the business grant called the Shutter Venue Grant has now gone live at SBA.gov. It's very difficult to apply for, technically difficult to apply for. The computer system is very complex, but it's now live there. Also happening to go live under third stimulus is the money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also the money for homeowners assistance. The $1,700 for college students, reach out to your college advisor. That money is there now. Also still pending is the EIDL grant of $5,000. But the incredible exclusive I can report to you is that another wave of stimulus checks went out on Friday, and they're landing by direct deposit on tomorrow, Wednesday. We'll be tracking that as a family together tomorrow. But let's cut to the next bill, which is the fourth stimulus package. One, there is no bill yet. Second, it will be written by the House members. And third, it will go by reconciliation, starting in the House, House, then to the Senate, then back to the House, and then back to the Senate again. That 2-month process starts in May and sends you a stimulus check starting in July. Now, over the last few weeks, we've heard a lot of details from a lot of different people, so I'm going to make it very simple for you in this broadcast. I'm going to explain to you when, how much, how do you get it, who's eligible, and where is the money coming from. First, how much and where. It'll come from both the Senate and the House. The House wants to give you a stimulus check for the pandemic plus 1 year. So they want to give you up to 18 months of stimulus checks. The senators in turn want to give you stimulus checks between now and December. Who are the people at issue? The House members are progressives. The senators are elder statesmen, movers and shakers of the Democratic Party. And then how much is the monthly check? That's where we see a difference. The House members want the first check to be $2,000, $1,000 thereafter. The senators have not put in writing the amount of the stimulus checks, but word on the streets, it looks like this. It'll be either $2,000 a month, $12,000, or $1,400 a month, $8,400. This is the payout for just one person. This is the payout for just one person. Who is eligible? How do you get it? And all those questions and answers, I'm going to go over it right now. When would the stimulus checks go out? July. What would be the first check to pay? The month of July. Would it go out in waves? No, they can't because they have to do it every month. So everyone would get paid at the same time. When would be the next check? August. Does this count towards income? No. Is the president writing the bill? No. The House and the senators are writing the bill. When would we actually physically see the check amount? We would physically see it during the vote-a-rama, the 2-day event at the end of the process. What date would they call us to a vote? No later than July 4th, says leaders Schumer and Speaker Pelosi. Is it income? No. It does not count towards income, and it does not disqualify you for benefits. Is the amount that you showed on camera the amount for the whole household? No. It's per person. So if you have 4 people in the household, you times it by 4. If you're a married couple, you double it. And away we go. Yes, this is for SSI and SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits. People who make less than $75,000, married couple that make $150,000 or less. And while other people may be telling you that the amount has been agreed upon, it has not. The number $2,000 that appears in some YouTube thumbnails is pure clickbait because the House members, as you see in this bill, propose $1,000 per month over the remainder of the pandemic and then a year thereafter. But the senators propose an amount they have not said. So it still remains an unclaimed issue about the amount of the monthly stimulus check. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because a series of 4 events are unfolding just today, and they continue to unfold this week. 1, the Federal Reserve, we now learn today, is not changing its federal policy. It's going to continue to support the economy because it says the economy needs to be supported. Number 2, the anticipation of Thursday's jobs numbers shows no stronger rate of recovery than the week before, meaning that there's still going to be about 16 million people, Americans, unemployed, and 8 million jobs not restored to this economy. That won't be restored until December. And finally, 3rd, that there's no bipartisan support coming, and there is no change of that lack of bipartisan support from the Republicans. So away we go to 4th stimulus. It's absolutely going to happen. Now, here is what you need to know about what's breaking news this morning. As we sit here today, we have never heard definitively from the White House which taxes will be impacted to pay for 4th stimulus. We have heard about corporate taxes, we have heard about inheritance taxes, but we have never heard what instrument, for whom, and at what rate. And here is what's happening minutes ago. Boy, Elizabeth Warren appeared on broadcast news this morning, and she's one of the senators who's going to put those monthly stimulus checks in there. She's one of the senators who want the student loan debt forgiveness and also want that SSI reform under 5th stimulus. And guess what she said? She slammed big corporate America, saying big corporations, which I'm not going to name on air. She has more insurance than I do. She went on air and said big corporations have paid 0 in federal taxes, and they are the people that we need to reform the corporate tax rate for. Interesting. What's my opinion of it? I love it. It differentiates her position from the White House. The White House's position on corporate taxes is that all corporations, all LLCs need to have their corporate tax rate lifted. Now, the White House cites the big corporations that Elizabeth Warren cites, but the White House doesn't understand that hundreds of millions of small businesses that are restaurants, that are florists, that are bars, have permanently been shut down because of the pandemic, and those were owned as corporations and LLCs. The White House is coming back saying, we want to smack those businesses that may have survived the pandemic that are going to reopen with more corporate taxes. Elizabeth Warren makes a beautiful distinction this morning, showing no, the issue is major corporate America. Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies that are not paying their share of taxes. Great news from Elizabeth Warren. But then came the shocker, the real shocker. And that shocker came from Representative Neal. If you're a subscriber to this channel or a member, you saw the message from me this morning. Representative Neal, who is a very important person. He is the head of the House Ways and Means Committee. He is the person who's responsible for putting in words into the fourth stimulus package. Came out today and talked about the fifth stimulus package. And what did he say? You are going to be shocked. And for the first time in a while, later in this video, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tirade because I am not happy with Representative Neal's statements. Remember, Representative Neal is the person who did not give you SSI, $200, did not give you FPUC retro, did not even give you a single stimulus check under the third stimulus package, gave you Zippo. And so what does he want to do now? You're going to be shocked. And I'll show it to you after the 10-minute mark in this video. You're going to be shocked. So let's cut back to forced stimulus. The incredible great news is that forced stimulus will likely be paid with a slight modification of the corporate tax rate. Forced stimulus does not have to be a complete pay-for-all. And while the White House has not been clear about the other pay-for-alls for forced stimulus, it's going to happen. What's important to understand is the White House is muddying the waters by talking about too many stimulus packages at the same time. In this given week, you have seen that I have not been running White House videos because they're now too confusing to follow. The White House is releasing publicity videos for the third stimulus package, the fourth stimulus package, and the fifth stimulus package all at the same time, causing people to get confused about which one's which. I'm not going to confuse you, folks. I'm going to make it easy breezy. But coming up in the second half of this recording, I'm going to go over that big update about SSI reform. I'm going to go over that big shocker from Representative Neal. And I'm going to go over the shocking statements from the White House yesterday about paying for fifth stimulus. Meantime, other news you want to know before we go into the commercial break is this. This one's a big one. Listen to this one. A new report today says that this year's Social Security cost of living adjustment was 1.3%. That doesn't cut it, says the report, because people's monthly benefits only increased 20%, while, here's the comparison, while your cost of living adjustment, COLA, increased only 1% this year, your car and truck costs went up 31% in the last year, laundry equipment went up 24%, gasoline went up 22%, heating oil went up 20%. So imagine that. All these other consumer staples you have to have, oil, gas, things like that, went up 20%, and your benefits went up 1.3%. This is why the current SSI, SSDI, Social Security Railroad Benefit system has to be fixed. Not just because of a pandemic where you're trying to struggle through a pandemic, things cost more, but because now that we're coming out of the pandemic, the Federal Reserve, the White House, in some extent, and myself all say that the inflationary rate over the next year will be at least 3 to 4%. So there's going to be a lot of inflation over the next year. You need to have more benefits. Your benefits are currently tied to COLA, cost of living adjustment, which doesn't move. But not anymore under SSI reform. Coming up in the fall, they're going to get rid of that and tie it to a new benchmark. What is that benchmark? And what is that shocking statement that House member Representative Neal said today? And did he put it in a bill? And am I going to be upset about in the second half of this recording? You'll have to stay tuned. I'll be going over that in the second half. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues in 2 hours from now with Noontime. That is going to be a big broadcast today because there's a lot of major breaking news today. I'm going over some of it in this recording, and I'm anticipating what's coming out at noontime. I've already seen the broadcast feeds of what's coming up in 2 hours. You are going to be shocked. So stay with me at noontime. And then we go into afternoons LA 2 hours after that. How are you? It's a big morning. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here. And I'm so excited for you to join us on day 2 of our second year of this channel. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. This is the most comprehensive, the most in-depth, the most accurate, and the most fun channel there is. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Early in this recording, we went over that 4th stimulus is going to happen. That pays you a monthly stimulus check in July through at least the end of the year. It would be the single biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel. But 5th stimulus is heating up as well with SSI reform. And that incredible great news comes on the heels of what I just said before the commercial break, as the current cost of living adjustment for this year gave you a mere 1% increase of your benefits. That's not cutting it, and that has to go away. Why is it only 1%? Because your benefits are tied to something called COLA, cost of living adjustment. And COLA never moves. Well, they're ready to get rid of it. And who is they? They are those incredible House and Senate Democrats. And they wrote an incredible letter to the president in which they said, you promised SSI reform during your presidential run, during your transition papers, and it didn't show up in the 2nd stimulus. It's not showing up in, excuse me, did not show up in 3rd stimulus, did not show up in 4th, and we're going to put it into 5th stimulus. And 5th stimulus is that SSI reform that those Democrats are going to put in there. First, let me go over what it is, and then I'll explain to you how it works. 5th stimulus will cost $1 trillion, and the SSI, SSDI reform will increase your benefits, increase the asset limits, add the inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. All right, let me make very simple, easy breezy for you to understand what this reform is. First, the reform would be for everyone on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. Second, if you have multiple benefits, all your benefits would be impacted. All right, first item, your benefits are going to increase. A major new number would be your new number for benefits. Your current number would go away permanently. You would get a big, larger new number. Great news. Number 2, your benefits would increase annually based upon a new benchmark. Before the commercial break, I told you that this year, your benefits went up 1% or $20 for many of you. That's going away. They're going to tie you to inflation. And inflation will be your new benchmark. Inflation increases 1 to 4% generally per year. It's expected to grow 3 to 4% over the next 2 years. So your benefits will guarantee go up every year. Third, they're going to remove the asset cap. The asset cap dates back to the 1980s. It says you can't keep more than $3,000 on hand for certain type of beneficiaries. Number four, they're going to remove the income cap. If you want to work, you can't currently. They're going to throw that away. That dates back to the 1960s. The new provision would allow you to work if you want to and keep that money, $1,000, $2,000 a month, $12,000, $24,000 a year. Yes, you could work and still stay on benefits. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. If you have the marriage penalty, you know what it is. When would this happen? This is fifth stimulus. This would be in September. It would take 2 months to do by recon and would impact your benefits in the last month or final month of the year. Incredible, great news. All right, now that you understand fifth stimulus, the big news for fifth stimulus, fourth stimulus, and third stimulus, let me go over the two shocking developing details, 1 minute ago and one last night about fifth stimulus in the fall that also slightly impact fourth stimulus. Let me go over what they are. First, I'm going to go over Representative Neal. Representative Neal, if you recall, as a viewer of this channel, a subscriber, and a member perhaps, is the man who is chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. It's one of the most important House committees for drafting reconciliation packages because they usually have the largest money segment when doing the second part of the bill, the substantive part of the bill. When they're going over what money and how much money goes out, it's generally his dominion, of which he is the chairman of that House committee. So who is Representative Neal? Get ready for my tirade. Representative Neal is the person who never gave you SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, $200 a month, never gave you FPUC retro, never gave you a stimulus check, never gave you hazard pay, never gave anyone over 18 years of age a single penny on this channel. All the money you've gotten from this channel have come from senators, not from this House member. Remember, he's in the House of Representatives, he's not a senator. He has never given you a darn penny. So what is he proposing today? Today, he introduced a new bill. Now, it's a standalone bill. Will it ever pass? No. Do I worry about the bill? No. It's never going to see light of day. But I don't like the mindset of even him doing this. The bill is, and does it impact your fourth stimulus check? No. It doesn't impact your fourth stimulus check. Does it impact your fifth stimulus check? No. But I don't like someone that's so important for purposes of getting you money in this country doing something like this. He introduced the Building an Economy for Families Act. So what does it provide for? There are one or two items in there that's very good, that does do incredible stuff for medicine and medical relief and paid sick leave. But here's the part that is absolutely deplorable. He seeks to pay children 17 to newborn $3,600 a year for 17 years. Yes. If you've been watching this channel over the last 2 days, I have told you that the President of the United States initially wanted to do the same thing, but the President's advisors told the President he would never get 17 years of $3,600 paid for, agreed to. So the President, under his fifth stimulus package coming this fall, will have 6 years of $3,600, which I've detailed on this channel is upwards of $24,000 for 17 to newborns. The President, again, under the fifth stimulus package, he's going to propose, not going to say he's going to get, but he's going to propose 6 years of $1,700 for 17 to newborns, which is $24,000. What does Representative Neal do today? He says, no. I'm going to give them 17 years of nearly $4,000. $70,000 he wants to give to newborns to 17-year-olds. A $4,000 check every single year of their life for 17 years. It's buffoonery. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with these people. Why are we paying $60,000 to $70,000 $1,000. Now, let me make something clear if you haven't seen it before on this channel. These payouts to these children of $3,600 continue all the way up to people who make nearly $100,000 a year. Why are we giving someone that makes $99,000 a year their kid nearly $3,000 to $4,000 a year for 17 years? No less, why are we giving someone who makes $75,000 a year their kid $4,000 a year for 17 years, which is $60,000, $70,000? It's shocking. That was the first part I had to tell you. Then was the second part. Yesterday on LA Late Night, you may have seen the video, and I'm not going to show it again because I want to keep my cool. But during that video, the president rolled out his number one economic advisor, Brian Deese, who's never worked a day in his life, who's in his 40s, and he came out and said that the president wants to give a lot of money to children to make them economically competitive. Children economically competitive? Why are we giving money to children to be economically competitive? Here's what he also said. He said that the president needs to raise capital gains taxes because the only people who have capital gains taxes are people who never work. They just have money sitting around. And then he also said that the vast majority of Americans have made all their wealth as employees, as W-2s. All three things are categorically incorrect. Shows a lack of understanding of basic economics of this country, basic understanding of how businesses work in this country. Most people who have been very successful in their operations of their lives have not been W-2s, have been go-getters, entrepreneurs. They've been 1099s. They've been Uber or Lyft or Grubhub or sole practitioners. Second, the claim that they just have something to sell that makes a profit, that they just had cash sitting on hand. No, they worked to get that asset that they sold. And finally, his claim that he continually used the word lazy or dodgers to describe people who had capital gains showed a disparagement to anyone who's worked a day in their life. It shows a mindset coming out from that man and Representative Neal that shows that, it just shows a strange mindset. Finally, and here's what you and I need to know. Nowhere in the scope of this discussion from the White House's DC yesterday, or from Representative Neal, do we have clarity where this money is supposed to go. We hear a lot of negativity on one side, but we don't hear where the money's going. Understand, when we talk about $3,600 to 17 to newborns, it's literally a check. It's not a check for their tuition. It's not a check for their food. It's not a check for their clothing. It's literally a check. They can go out and buy video games every single month with that check. It's not a check with any catch-alls or any conditions to it. It's just a check. So if you want to go out and spend that check and go buy video games every single month, you can do it on the American tax dollar. What's going on here? Here's what you need to know. Ultimately, I have always been a person on this channel who follows the dollar. And if we hear that there's a program to spend money, we need to know where the money is to be spent on. We know where the money is coming in from, but we also need to know where the money is going out to. And throughout that press conference yesterday from DC, we saw no details. We saw a lot of vague expressions, superlatives, grandiose words, the economic competitiveness, economic future, never a detail as to where the money's actually spent. And here finally is the last thing you need to know, is that while we see Elizabeth Warren on broadcast news talking about Fortune 100 companies and what they're doing, which we absolutely categorically know, we see it, we see their corporate filings. Her message is very on point. Her message to go after people who make $1 trillion and $1 billion is very clear. But she is now competing for airtime against people who simply are vague, like Neal, like DC, that simply sort of say these superlatives, but don't tell us where the money's going. Ultimately, you know what I'm thinking, which is you're owed money. You're owed money for SSI reform. You're owed money for stimulus checks. You never got FPUC retro. You never got hazard pay. And yet these people are talking about paying money to people who've just been born during the pandemic. Yes. So I will stay on top of the story, and I hope you stay with me as well. The student loan debt forgiveness, still no letter from Miguel Cardona, the president's economist. The money for the $5,000 EIDL grant has not yet gone live. The money for rest for businesses that is being anticipated for the restaurant grant still has not gone live. Meantime, the housing sales numbers came in this morning, and housing prices rose 12% per day. It showed our biggest improvement, meaning that people can have capital gains taxes on that. Is that a bad thing to smush? Not particularly clear. Also surprising today is a new report that came out about Tesla. Jim Cramer this morning said that the Tesla earnings report was not good yesterday, despite how we initially thought it was good. Why did he say it was not good? He said it was spurred by He said it was spurred a lot by Bitcoin speculation. And finally, UPS came in for earnings minutes ago. They beat on strong deliveries of online purchases. And the CDC is expected to announce today a lifting of outdoor mask wearing for unvaccinated people and for vaccinated people. And lastly, Binance, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, is announcing that it's launching its own NTF platform. So if you want to buy, sell, or make NTFs and pay capital gains tax on it, that will be happening in just a few weeks. Very exciting news. And with that, there's a full room in the chat. Let me see who is here. So many people tuning in. And how is everyone doing? There is Anne, and there's Jenny, and there's Jerry and Jenny, and there's Gail, and there's Francine. What a beautiful name, Francine. And there's Sandy. Thank you, Sandy, for getting the chats, getting the likes up. If you've not liked this video, listen to Queen Sandy and get those likes up. There's Debbie, and there's Teresa, and there is another Jerry. There's Paul, and there is Peter. Peter says, these toddlers should get to work. Yes, that's what Representative Neal. There's Lynn, and there's Caldria, and there's Crystal, and there's a perfect dork. They've lost their minds. Here's what you need to know, is that ultimately, it was over a year of us watching battlegrounds to get legislation out for the pandemic. Now the Democrats in control of the Senate. Now they're in control of the House. It's their opportunity now to get legislation out to help people. And I have heard very little about helping people. Let's get some legislation out to help people. Let's stop talking about newborn children. Let's start talking about helping Americans. All I've heard is a lot of negativity come out from the White House and now from Representative Neal in the last 24 hours. And I'm not particularly fond of Elizabeth Warren's negativity either this morning, slamming corporate America. Her message was correct. But I also want to hear from Elizabeth Warren as much. Where is Miguel Cardona's letter? For every time I hear Elizabeth Warren complain about corporate taxes, I want to also hear her say, how about SSI reform? I also want to hear, how about student loan debt forgiveness? I also want to hear, how about multiple stimulus checks? It's a balancing act, because ultimately, I don't want people going out and complaining about things all the time. I also want to hear from them, when are they sending out money, and to who, and for what groups? Ultimately, you know they've made promises. You want them to keep their promises. You don't want them to go off message, because politicians love to go off message. And with that, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Stay informed, stay focused. I'm going to see you in 2 hours from now. Are you going to see me? I hope you are. Our programming continues in just 2 hours from now with noontime. And then we go into afternoon to LA at 4 p.m. The schedule continues this evening at afternoon to LA at 6 p.m. Then evenings LA at 8 p.m. And then we go into LA late night. Always stay informed and stay focused, stay positive, stay motivated, but also push for what's yours. This is not a country where we just reward children. This is not a country where we forget our elders. This is not a country where we forget the working American. And this is not a country where we disparage people who worked hard to make money. This is a country where we try to work as a family to get things through to the finish line. And then ultimately, a lot of politicians are out to get a book deal. We're not here to get them a book deal. We're here to get our relief so we get our feet on the ground and go forward and be more positive. Stay positive, stay focused, keep that smiling going. Someone may not have delivered you bacon today, but still keep a smile on your face. And with that, stay informed, stay focused. The coffee's brewing, the toast is toasting. I'm here, you're here, and I'll see you next as Noontime LA heats up in 2 hours.